Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of PayTalks. From wherever you are, logging in from all over the world. I know we've got followership all around the place. I hope you've had a lovely day. And for those of you whose day is just beginning, I hope you have a very lovely day today. As always, I've got another super amazing, super talented guest today who's here with me. And so if you're looking again for some inspiration, some entertainment, and some information, PayTalks is the place to be. And today I've got the award-winning voiceover artist, Amy Sinha. Amy, it's such a pleasure to have you on today. Thanks for coming to speak to me.
Thank you so much for having me. I can't wait. I've been looking forward to this all week.
Oh, excellent. I've been looking forward to it for quite some time now. Amy is so much in demand that I don't know. I think I don't want to say I had to fill out forms and stuff before I got you to come. But indeed, it is such a pleasure. And today in our conversation, Amy and I are going to be talking about using your voice. And she is so multi-talented with her voice. It's amazing. And I was saying to Amy earlier on, before we went live, that if I was asked, what talent I had, I would say my voice. But then what does my voice do? And I look around and I will say, all I can do is talk. And I think that's all. But don't ask me to sing. Don't ask me to do any voiceovers. Don't ask me to do anything. But today, in our conversation on PayTalks, I've got Amy Sinha, who's a multi-talented voice over artist. So what do you want me to say about Amy? What Amy puts out there about herself is she says to people, if you're looking for the hero of your story and you're looking to engage adverts, video, IVR messages, or podcast that your audiences can really engage with and relate to, then indeed Amy is the lady for you. If you're looking to collaborate with a voice artist who isn't only passionate about helping others communicate their message, but who is also inspiring, in the messages that get communicated, then here are Amy's qualities. She's very articulate. She's got great communication skills. She's also got great listening skills. She's a very patient person. So can I say she's got me, patience? She's honest and straightforward. She's very creative, inspiring. She is a professional at what she does. She's fun, she's friendly. She's an outside the box thinker. And I think that's one that I would love to hear about later on in the show. Above all, she's very passionate about voiceovers, which is what she does for a living. And I'm sure all the qualities that I've listed about Amy are qualities that would resonate with so many of you. And if none of the qualities resonate with you, don't worry about it. You're in the right place. Just join our conversation live on YouTube today on PayTalks. So Amy, you are someone who's had a lot of physical disabilities and challenges and obstacles. And you say this has been so throughout your life. And honestly, for the life of me, I can't tell, because I'm looking at you and you just look fabulous to me. And I'm thinking, how can this glamorous woman have have had challenges all through her life? And yet, through it all, you've kept going no matter what. Would you like to talk to us about, share with us your lived experiences of some of these challenges?
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to start with the first thing that I actually remember that comes to my mind, and it's wearing very thick glasses tied with string and having kind of gloves on my hands, and that was when I was 4 years old. So that's kind of my first memory. And so what happened was, when I was 18 months, I had cataracts. So they took those out, and I had very limited vision then. So I had to have these very thick glasses that when I put on, literally my pupils were like this massive. It kind of scared people up until quite recently, actually, with those glasses. And then the reason I had the gloves on my hand was because I had a rare medical condition, and it's called sensory neuropathy type 2, where I can't feel hot or cold. So I burnt myself, and I can't also feel pain, superficial pain. So I used to scratch myself a lot and not know that I used to do that, hence the mittens. I did step on a plug once, just to put the severity across, and it went straight through my big toe, and it took about a year to heal. Yeah, it was quite an experience, to say the least. But it also meant that I had osteoarthritis, which became really bad during my teenage years, and mobility was really, really difficult. And it also meant that it affected my spine. So I stopped growing at the age of 11. So I've always been small. So mix all of these things together, and it's quite challenging, especially, growing up and relating to people, and my confidence. I was very shy. I would only talk to people that I knew, and in school I would only really talk to my sister, because I have two sisters, and one of them was 2 years older than me, so I just used to talk to her all the time, I think. Yeah, so it has been challenging. To kind of deal with everything on a physical level, and also on a mental level, because when you can't do things, all the things that you want to do, when your body doesn't actually work, then it kind of gets depressing. Your mind, a lot goes on in your mind, and it's very frustrating. So that's been a lot to overcome.
I mean, it's really difficult for me to, comprehend the thought of living with health challenges throughout your life. What was it that saw you through all these challenges? What was the motivating factor that kept you going?
I think it has to be my family, and my sisters, and because we were always musical, and we'd always sing, and that was one of the good things I remember. And my parents, my mum was really musical, so I had piano lessons when I was young. I had violin lessons. That didn't go too well. I think I got fired at the age of 6 because my hands were all burnt in the gloves and I couldn't do it. And I know. But so I did dancing, I did karate when I could. So we got to do everything. She kind of pushed us to do everything until I couldn't do it. And also I think TV. If I hadn't had television, I think I would have been lost. And I loved sci-fis, anything science fiction, supernatural, and that kind of actually made me expand my mind, and gave me that kind of an intellectual mindset. Then I used to question everything, and then when I used to talk to people, literally they probably thought that I didn't know what planet I was on, because I used to talk about all these out there things and really adult themes, and I was only like, say, 13, 14, and so I used to love having those kind of conversations. So I think that's really what kept me going, was the whole mind aspect of it. And yeah.
Well, out of all the activities that you had, which was your favorite growing up?
I think probably didn't like anything. I kind of probably was made to do everything. Yeah, that's probably watching TV was my favorite activity. But no, I did used to sing when I wanted to sing. I think I don't like it when people make me do things, or when people made me do things. If I wanted to do it because I wanted to do it.
But you were made to do all these many things growing up.
I was made to do it by my mom. So yeah, but it was good that she made me, because I got out, but I didn't like it. But yeah, I'm glad she made me.
And you also mentioned about music and singing. So is that where your talent came from, the family?
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, I think it was natural, because I did have a big voice, and my voice was very husky back then. So I did, I guess it was a natural. In my sisters as well, it came naturally. It was something we didn't even have to try at. So yeah.
And you describe yourself as someone who is intuitive and empathic and very good at communicating with all kinds of people and in all kinds of situations. When did you discover this? Was it going through all the activities you were going through as you were growing up, or how's that come to be?
It was later on. I think it would be in my 20s. So after I graduated from music college. Actually, music college was the scene because I was very, as I said, I was very shy and I never really talked to a lot of people. But when I went to music college, I was forced to talk to all different, types of people, including men. I wasn't very good at that growing up.
I don't think any of us was good at talking to men growing up. And if we were to watch videos, of our lives, oh gosh, I don't know how embarrassed it would be right now.
Probably very embarrassed, I didn't know what to say. And I think going to music college, because I was in a jazz situation, so it was filled with men, so I had no escape. So I kind of had to do it. But that did force me. Then when I came back, I kind of, I did get to then. I guess I was known then for, if you put me in a room in a situation, any type of situation, I'd be the one that you'd bring, because I would just be talking to, you could just leave me and then, go around and I would just make conversation with people. And I always say that I used to say that I could talk to anyone, but then after my experience, I think I probably can't talk to everyone, because some people are just too difficult. But I will say that I can talk to most people. Yeah.
Well, I guess it's safe to say, you can talk to anyone, but you can't talk to everyone.
Yeah.
I can understand that. But you've just mentioned as well that you went to music college, and you come from a family that sings, or a family that's into music. And on top of that, you went to music college. What did you learn differently in music college from what you sort of picked up and embraced growing up from home, singing and music?
Yeah, so I learned so it was a very well it was a I went to Leeds Music College, and at that time, I'll probably say the year because I sound really old now. So I went to music college, it was 2000. And at that time it was the best college for jazz music. I mean, they had other things going on, they had classical, they had pop, but jazz was the main feature. And we had some amazing lecturers and amazing tutors coming in to teach us. We had amazing workshops with Julian Joseph, who is a piano player, at the black piano player, absolutely amazing. And we also had just people from America. Daryl Sherman, I remember, she was American. She played in the Waldorf Astoria. So, and I learned, what I learned is just so much that it's hard to put into words, because it was everything about music. So I learned a lot growing up, don't get me wrong, but the music college was where I really homed in and educated myself, one, on what jazz was actually about, two, how to learn how to perform with live musicians properly. You don't know what it's like until you get and surround yourself with musicians. I learned how to lead, being a female in a male dominated industry or scene is hard. It was difficult. It wasn't easy. I went through a lot of depression while I was in music college, because it was hard, and I hadn't experienced sexism until really that time. They really expect singers. They don't, they think jazz singers are not, real musicians, and they just probably want you to sit there and look pretty or just sing a little bit while they kind of take the lead. But I was never gonna blend into the background, one, because I look different, two, because I sound different. I kind of dominate, and it's not something that I purposely did, but it's just who I am. And accepting that has been difficult as well. I did always want to blend into the background, because I could never, and I was never able to do that. So it's taken a long time to accept that I'm, I was never just going to be like everyone else. And I know for some people it's like they spend years and they want to make themselves, unique so that they can be in the forefront. And I spent years trying to, hide and not want to be seen by everyone, but it just didn't happen. So I learned a lot.
I find it really strange, that people would think women were not supposed to sing jazz. Jazz is not the easiest thing. I'm sure you'd agree with that. But did you go to that particular college for jazz, or did you
Yeah.
go for other, classes of music?
No, I went for jazz. I mean, I applied to other music colleges in London, in Birmingham Conservatoire. They weren't taking on singers at that time. They started after, probably the year after that I auditioned. The other music colleges at that time, they wanted somebody really classical that they could mold into a jazz. And even though I'd studied classical music, I wasn't comfortable singing it to that kind of a level. And my voice just wasn't, it's not classical. I can do it. I just don't have the passion for it. So Leeds was the jazz place, and everyone you see that graduated from Leeds Music College, and who are playing around the world right now. So yeah, no, it was a definitely experience, and it was.
Why was it jazz though? Why jazz for you? What was the connection with jazz? Because you think that at such a young age, most young people want to go for something like pop music or hard rock or, something a bit on the fast lane. Why jazz?
Well, I did love pop music. I loved Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey. Those were the two. Dina Carroll. When I was growing up, I think my first CD actually was Dina Carroll that I bought myself. I think jazz was. The first song that I sung in a talent competition. I was 6 years old, and I sung "Somewhere Over the Rainbow," and I didn't know that was described as jazz until later on. So I used to watch a lot of old movies, and I used to love them. I just really used to love them. I used to love watching old films. I could sit for hours, and I'd love Frank Sinatra. Absolutely just adored him so much, and I wanted to be like him. He's just had such a natural way of singing. But again, I didn't realize those songs were called jazz until I went to music college. They swing, big band, different names to it. Jazz for most people are music like Miles Davis, things like that. But up until that point, so I love the melody and it's not easy, and I think that's why I liked it, because I was going through a lot of things when I was young, and I think things that pop was just so simple that I got bored. I found it bored. I used to sing it. That's fine. That's why with Mariah Carey, I used to do all the twirly bits because it was interesting. Even though she did overdo it. I love doing that because it was a challenge. So I needed a challenge, and pop music was not a challenge. So jazz was a challenge because I love the complicated things that were going on, the different melodies that were going on, the different instruments that were playing. They were playing different things to all the other instruments, and I think it was just reflected of what my mind was going through at that time, and I think that's why I related to jazz so much. And there's just so many underlying things going on. You listen to the lyrics, but it's not what they're saying. You just have to read the context of the song. It can be anything what you're feeling at the time. So one song like Someone to Watch Over Me could which actually was my favorite song to sing, and I've been singing it since I was 16. And it's like somebody watching, you want somebody just just somebody to look out for you, just on a general level. To me, it was just finding someone, the love of my life, to my soulmate kind of thing. So it can mean different things to different people, and I think that's what I liked about it. It wasn't telling you what you should be thinking. You had to think what it was for yourself.
Interesting. So here you were, a young girl in this college studying jazz music. And I mean, you were still going through so much, with your health challenges and all the other challenges that you had, going through your life. At what point did you discover that you had a wealth of vocal experience and that you could manipulate your voice in many diverse ways?
I think I realized that early. So I think it was when I was trying to emanate Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey. So I realized I could do like on Vogue. So they would do all the bits. So when me and my sisters would get together and try to sing, and I would do all the the little bits, which probably get a bit annoying for them, but because I could do it.
That's before you went to college, is it?
Yeah, that was before I went to college.
Right. And how could you imitate Whitney Houston?
I don't know. So I couldn't imitate the way she sung, but I can imitate the notes that she sung.
She
I probably
sang
can't do it now.
very
I probably
high
hadn't
notes.
practiced, but yeah. So I could sing high. I had because I haven't practiced now, but I had probably about nearly a 3-octave range, which is nothing compared to what they have, but compared to other people, that's quite a wide range. So yeah.
Not that I know what any of that means.
But if you're going on the piano, it's just octave. You got octave to octave, C to C. So I could do like say a low G, and then you go G to G to G, and then up the piano scale. I'll teach you. We'll go on the piano.
No idea whatsoever. You're talking to a complete novice when it comes to the formal side of music, reading music and all those G's and the octaves and whatever. Nope, don't ask me. Not my area, and I don't want to disgrace myself live. So the other things that you do with your voice, when did you discover? I'm just keen to know because you were so young.
Yeah.
And at that age, when I was about your age, going into college, I'm not sure, I was very aware of what my talents were. And I think that's probably the story with a lot of young people as well, And here you are, having gone through everything you've gone through, but being very aware and very clear about what your talent was. And this is why I keep asking you all these questions about when, at what point, because I think a lot of young people would want to know. And I think that would be very inspiring to young people. So when did you realize, here I come again, when did you realize that you could do other things with your voice other than sing?
Oh, other than sing, speak really loudly. When did I realize that? I don't know, because as I said, I never used to talk much. So I was quiet unless I was singing, even though my projection was good. I could project. And again, that's natural. I don't know how. I can't say I worked at. I know it sounds like I don't know what it sounds like, but I didn't work at it. It wasn't something I had to work at. It was something that came naturally, but I didn't realize that I had the talent. In my head, I didn't. And in my head, everyone could do it, even though they couldn't. So I didn't realize that I could do all of these things until probably 10 years ago. It's like that. I know I could sing, but then I thought everyone else could sing. I thought people, and this is the problem in the music industry, because you're comparing yourself to other people, and everyone is comparing you again, and everyone has an opinion on your voice and on what you sound like, and that, unfortunately, that again brings the confidence down. So as far as I know you want me to answer the question. I don't know. I can't answer that.
Yeah, I totally understand that, because for me, growing up, I think it wasn't just me, but other people around me as well. So my family members and my friends realized from when I was very young that I was very talkative. And I don't know if that was a positive thing or if it was a negative thing, but for many years, in my early formative stage, I honestly thought it was a negative thing, and that was only because every time I did something wrong at home, my mom would go, "Oh, you don't know how to do this. All you know is talk, 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 talk. That's all you do." Until one day, my dad said to me, "Oh, don't worry about that. Don't, every time she brings you down about talking, don't worry about it, because one day talking is going to get you somewhere." And, I say to people like today, I'm happy to say it's brought me to PayTalks, because if I wasn't talking from a very young age, I wouldn't be here hosting a talk show. So, and all through, I just, when people ask me, so what do you do? So what talents have you got? So what skills have you got? I said, I don't know. I just talk. I just love to talk. And every time there was an event as well, Avi, I got to tell you this. And they would say, does anybody have, anything to say? I would always raise, I always had something to say. And I don't know if it was relevant or irrelevant stuff, or maybe I just loved the sound of my voice, but I just loved, but I can't, even now that after discovering that I could use my voice to host events, or, to give speeches or give talks at events and stuff, I still cannot say that I can do anything else. I try to mimic people every now and again, but I wouldn't say that is a talent. And here you are, just, effortlessly making a living, out of that. And you discovered this 10 years ago, you said, when you discovered that you could do other things, like the voiceover, which is what you do. What did
Yeah.
you do then?
And again, it was, I think I was on holiday to Tunisia, and I was just with my phone. We were in it's a long story, but to cut it short, we got upgraded. I got upgraded to a suite, which was the most amazing suite of my life. Massive windows, big 2 rooms, really, really big. So I was taking footage of the suite, and I was just doing a documentary, and my brother-in-law goes, he heard it, he goes, Amy, you sound really good doing the documentary and talking. And I was like, all right, okay. But again, it didn't click in. And then people would say, I mean, you got a nice speaking voice on the phone. I remember one the Evening Post who had me on the phone. He goes, you had the best speaking voice that I've ever heard. And I was like, okay, that's okay, very nice. But people say that, but again, I didn't clock on. I didn't clock on to that, because singing was what I did. I didn't think talking, could get me anywhere, even though I just go into presenting. I interviewed musicians, but that was only to get over the fear of talking on the microphone. So everything I've done is to get over something. Like being in front of cameras, it was because I was camera shy. So I never looked at it as kind of having a talent. It was just a way of getting over something. And then people would go, oh, you sound really good. Oh, right. Okay. So then I realized, oh, well, okay, maybe people like it. And then the same with the voiceovers. So I just, decided to do it. I put a voice reel out there, and people responded really well. So I was like, all right, people like what I sound like. I'll just give this a go. And I actually I love doing the voiceovers, and yeah. But it kind of came
Was
from that.
that what you started your business with, the
Yeah.
voiceovers?
Yeah.
Or was it singing?
Um, and unfortunately, when you're a creative person, you don't look at the business side. So even though I should have looked at the business side when I was doing all of the music, I didn't, because I was like, oh, when I get this contract, I'll just let everybody else do it. But I never got to that point. There's so many reasons why the singing didn't work out the way I thought it would work out. I mean, I thought I'd be a pop star. I thought, when I was 16, that I would be famous and go live in New York, or, marry a musician. That's how I saw my life going, and it didn't. And I wasn't able to cope with that so well, because that was the plan that I had in my head all along. And then when it didn't happen, reality, took in, because I had so many disabilities. Not that it stopped me from doing things, but it did. It unfortunately, just on a realistic level, I couldn't do so many things that other people would be able to do. Go to London, go stay in a 1-bedroom flat or whatever. No, I needed to prepare things, so I can't do things on a spontaneous level. Most things I have to prepare for. It'll take a while to explain why, but it's just reality. So when you live in reality, it doesn't really pan out, the way you want it to go. So that's why the business thing didn't really kick in. I think because I didn't believe that I could do it, and 2, it was just too much effort. I think I kind of avoided things which were too much effort, and until this time, really, because I was going through so much anyway. Anything that could be easy, or what I saw as being easy, then I'd go for that option rather than having to learn and do the business side and do the accounts. I mean, we all know, we've done this course together, Faye, what everything that goes into a business. I mean, it's a lot. So yeah.
I know, and I think very much like you, when I set up PayTalks, I wasn't thinking about the business side. I just wanted a platform where I could do what I was passionate about, which again, obviously, is talking and listening to other people as well, giving other people the platform to talk. Because now, having grown up, I do not like the sound of my voice. And I do not like being the center of attention. That's why I like to put the spotlight on other people. Let them be the center of attention. I'm going to be the interrogator, the one asking the questions, and you being out there. So anyway, when we went on this, and Amy and I have been on this business acceleration course sponsored by Business Wales and funded by the Welsh government. And like Amy, you know, I had no idea how I was going to make money just being on a talk show, you know. But I think having come through that course, you know, we've sort of like looked at other strands and thought, okay, this could be, you know, a revenue generating strand of things. And, you know, just going back and thinking about what you do as well. I mean, because for me, with talk shows, gosh, there must be thousands and thousands and thousands of talk show hosts out there, you know, but it hasn't deterred me from doing what I want to do because it is what I love. With voiceover artists, I'm thinking of how quite hidden they are from public view, because a lot of times we just hear your voices, we don't see your faces. So many people don't know who the voices are behind a lot of, you know, characters, for instance, that they see on television or adverts that they watch, because they just hear voices in the background. And for many years, but I have to say this, we didn't know who Mickey Mouse, the voice of Mickey Mouse, was. And I remember the first time, you know, that I saw the voice of Mickey Mouse. Well, I put a face to it. The name hasn't come to me right now. And I thought, oh my gosh, right, okay. And the first thing that comes to you is you try to put the voice to the face that you're looking at, you know. How else can we project the faces of voiceover artists? How else?
Oh my God. And you know what, you're right. And it's a funny thing, because I think the same with Peppa Pig, you know, and then they brought them on the one show, and there was this girl, and she'd been doing it, I think since she was 4 or 5, and now she's about 17, and she could still do the same Peppa Pig voice. And I find that, and I think now it's starting to come to the forefront with all this technology. People want to know who the face is behind the voice. So even that, you know, it doesn't fly anymore that you like radio show, you know, you're on camera, people on the radio, they have to do like podcast or put themselves on with the video to show who they are. So I think I don't know how I think
I really don't know. Sometimes I just feel like, you know, if it's a movie, at the end of it, can they just put in one scene where they say, oh, introducing the voice of this and the voice of that, and we see the faces, so that we can celebrate these people, because they're very inspirational.
They are. I think they do
And
that with
a lot of
actors,
times
don't
you
they?
grow up with that voice, you know the voice of Mickey Mouse, you know the
Yeah.
voice of Minnie, you know the voice of Peppa Pig, but you don't know who the people are.
No, but I think that's the point. And I think maybe it would like when you got, say, Toy Story, so you know who Tom Hanks is, so you don't need to show who Tom Hanks is. And I think with voiceovers, there's something about an anonymity that they like not to be seen. And I like that as well. I mean, it's very different to singing. You're right there, you're on display. I mean, I love, but talking, I don't know. You know what? Doing the voiceover is something different. I like it that people can't see me, they just hear my voice. I don't know why. I'm not sure why that actually is. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a thrill that my voice is on something rather than my face is on something. I think it's just a different kind, but I like everything. So I don't think I could probably go through life and not having my face not on things, but I get it.
That's the way all voiceover artists feel. They'd rather have their voices out there than their faces.
I don't know, because these days, I mean, I'm looking on LinkedIn, and they're very, like, I've seen a lot of voiceover artists, and they're very, they do things on Instagram, they do things on Facebook and on LinkedIn, they have videos. So I'm not sure these days whether it's the same as it used to be. Yeah. I don't know.
So you've got your recording studio now. Is that at home? Is that out in an office? And what exactly do you do there?
Yeah, so I set it up from home. And it's been, I mean, COVID, I did it at the right time. Clearly that like intuition was working really well just before the pandemic hit. And because I set up a studio from home, which meant I work internationally, so everything I do is online. I record it, you know, on the software, and then edit it. I edit it myself and send it across. So that's actually how I work. So I work from my studio downstairs, and a very quiet space. Yeah, it's
Amy
getting.
Global. You are global.
I am
Amy
global.
Global. Amy Sinha Global. Going global with your voiceovers. Excellent. And, no wonder, now that you said it, I'm global. No wonder you won an award recently when we closed the Business Wales project, the Business Accelerator project. Tell us about that. Tell us about that award.
For the award.
I mean, I was there, but I want the world to hear it from you. It was your show. You were in the spotlight. Tell us about it.
Well, it is my first award. I know. I'm very happy that I won my award. It was called the Champion Accelerator Award, and it was the one, I think, for using all the skills that they taught us. Also being like vocal. So I have to say, Pay, this is the 21st podcast that I've been on since the beginning of the year. So, I really put myself out there, and I've talked about the program a lot.
And I have to say this, Amy deserved that award in every sense of it. Because not only are you talented, multi-talented, I must say, you're also a meticulous businesswoman. Amy shows up. I mean, she just shows up. She didn't miss one single meeting, or workshop or clinic or anything. You didn't miss any aspect of that course, did you? And not only did you show up, you took the skills that we were taught in the workshops and you practicalized them to grow your business. I mean, tell me if that is not the definition of success, then I don't know what success is. There were lazy bones like me. Well, not lazy bones. I'll give myself some credit there. Not lazy.
No, you weren't. Not at all.
Some very busy people like me who couldn't show up on some days, and then would go back and I would click into the resources and think, I don't understand what this is all about. How am I going to apply this to PayTalks? I don't want to go through all this paperwork. I just want to talk.
In fairness, though, I didn't know you could do that. I'm giving myself away, though. I actually really thought you had to be for all of them. I actually didn't think there was an option. Actually, mostly because I haven't studied probably since back in college. So I'm thinking, you have to be there. So that's the way my mind was. It's like I had to be there. I didn't think, not turning up was an option if I knew.
Yeah, but I mean, you weren't just there. You didn't just make yourself available. You were very present in the presentations throughout. You were very participating.
Well, just like you. If anybody had a question, no, I have a question. No, I don't know how relevant this is, but no, I have a question.
There we are. So with your recording studios, I'm assuming that you're applying all of your specialties, yes?
Yes.
So you're doing your podcasts, your character scripts, your professional voicemail audios. What else do you do? Newsreader. That's a very exciting one. There was a time in my life when I actually thought I'd be reading the news for CNN. I used to sit in front of and put a script in front of me and pretend like I was reading, the CNN news, all the things we do.
It can still happen.
Animation as well. You're into animation as well, are you?
Animation. Yeah, I love doing children. I do love doing children's voices. I mean, I like girls' voices. I've just I just completed a voiceover for it's for an art museum. So it was like a poem, like a very, very, very long poem for that in New York. So Americans love the British accent, Pay. They really do. And because of...
and vice versa, I think.
And we love the Americans. Come over here, American people. You'd be most welcome in the UK. So what was I saying? Yes, so I've done a lot of things internationally. using all of my voice skills, my British accents. I can do a very, very posh, a very posh voice like the Queen. People ask for RP. I'm actually sure that they actually don't know what RP actually means.
So
I
tell us, what is RP? Because I don't know what RP is.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? So there's RP, which actually is like the Queen, so like the royal family. So you've got really, really posh, like really, really, really English. But then actually, I think these days,
I can already see your body language moving into position to give us that voice. So go ahead, do it. Do it.
No, it really does. Actually it does, because my posture then goes straight, because I'm trying to, be like really, really, really posh. But then people go, so where do you live? So I'm like, no, I live in Wales. Oh, you don't sound like you're Welsh. And I'm like, well, no, I am Welsh. So I have to put on a little bit of a Welsh accent. And I'm like, well, I have to watch Gavin and Stacey or something to get me into that Welsh zone. It is quite funny. I do love doing that. But I think most people think RP really is what I'm saying right now. So that's my general English accent. I think it's probably posh enough to most people, because they probably see EastEnders in America and think that's what the English accent is, Cockney or Cockney accent. But apparently somebody said that I actually have a London accent, and I was like, really? And I've been trying to put one on, and they go, well, it's okay, you already have a London accent.
I think you have a London accent.
Do I?
Yeah.
Oh, what have I been trying to do then? I don't know what accent I've been trying.
So can you do a typical Welsh accent? I don't know what a typical Welsh accent is, but because there's so many different, there's the Cardiff. If you're from Cardiff, you sound different. If you're from Swansea, you sound different. But do a Welsh accent.
A Welsh accent is just what I'm talking right now. So I guess that is the typical Welsh accent. But I don't know because huh?
You don't sound Welsh to me there.
That's a Welsh accent. That's a Swansea Welsh accent.
Very much like a Londoner.
No, don't say that now. I'm getting away with that. The Welsh accent.
Okay, do a Peppa Pig.
Oh God. Hi, Peppa. Hi, I'm Peppa Pig, and this is my brother George. My Daddy Pig, and Mummy Pig.
Oh, that is so lush. Do you know what? If I wasn't on screen with you right now, if I just heard that like through my radio or heard you on the phone say that, I would be completely convinced that that was Peppa Pig. So what else can you do? Do something else. Entertain us. Come on.
Oh God, no! I think I was watching Catfish the other day, and I've got a friend who lives in America, and I was like recording it. I recorded an American accent. I'm like, does this sound American? I think he was being really nice to me, but I never do American accents in front of American people, because there's so many different places, there's so many different states and so many different dialects. So,
well, it's the same as the United Kingdom, isn't it? Yeah. There's so many different English accents.
Liverpudlian, I cannot do that. I can't do it. Unfortunately, I can't do other. I'd love to do a Northern accent. I'm going to have to work on it, and the Scottish accent and the Irish accent. And I was trying to do the Irish accents, but I think if I kind of like kind of listen to it like a program, I kind of get into it. And then I start to maybe like an Indian accent. So even though my parents are Indian, they don't really have an Indian accent. So I kind of go to YouTube and actually listen to what an Indian accent sounds like, and then kind of probably absorb it. But then I sound Welsh.
So can you do for us an Indian accent? What does an Indian accent sound like?
It would really, really sound really bad. Now my relatives are going to listen to this. And
go, oh, me now trying to be like you, trying to do different accents.
No, that was really good. I tried. No, I'm not doing it. I did really bad.
Try. As a child, I used to love watching. What's it called again? Mind Your Language. We had all the series at home. And I used to love it because I could imitate all the different accents from around the world, that the students were from. And the one that really, really, really resonates with me that I never forgot was, I think it was the Italian one. Maximilio, was he Italian? Or I believe he was Italian. And he always said that, I always remember that, sentence about cucutta. I said, cucutta. My father was a cucutta. And the teacher goes, Mr. Brown goes, Kukuta, what do you mean by Kukuta? Yes, he Kukuta ravioli, he Kukuta spaghetti, he Kukuta everything. And I think he was just asked to make a sentence with the word cook. You know, and he went into that. My father's a Kukuta, he Kukuta ravioli, he Kukuta spaghetti, he Kukuta everything. So those kind of accents, yes, when I was young, you know, but there we are. So before we go, I'm going to ask you to sing. How does that sound to you?
Oh my God. Okay. Can I sing in Spanish?
Yes, that's fine. You can sing in any language. we just want to hear that very silky, lush voice of yours.
Yeah, I'll try and put on a voice for Friday, you know, for the weekend. So I thought Spanish would do really well.
Don't go singing "It's Friday again."
It was a little bit, it's probably up tempo shit, but I'll cool it down now. So okay, a little version of the I can't the shadow of your smile. Sorry, lost one. That's kind of on my head. Okay. La sombra de tu amor en mi soñar parece despertar su ansiedad. Siento que al partir te vas de mí. No puedo olvidar ni ser feliz.
Oh, I wish I knew that song. I would have joined you. Unfortunately, if I did, I would have spoilt it all for you. You are indeed a voice of inspiration, Amy Sinha. You are a voiceover like no other that I've met in recent times. And I would like to say a big thank you, honestly, for coming on PayTalks today. It's been without a dull moment in the last 45 minutes.
Oh, and thank you so much for having me on your show. It's a privilege.
Yeah, and I look forward to seeing you again, and we can do more, you know, talks about voiceovers and how to draw inspiration and entertainment from the many, you know, voices that you can do. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who's watched us this evening, and hopefully see you again soon on PayTalks. This is Pay Bentu signing off for PayTalks.